Hi, everyone. It's Karen here with another mini mindful moment. Oh, my throat's already froggy. I've been talking a lot already this morning. Our topic for today is how to get high performance out of your team. Let me make sure I've got my volume down so I don't get echoey stuff going on here as I take a look at all of you who are showing up. Thank you for being here. So, I have, of course, as I always do, I have some slides to share with you about the topic of getting high performance out of your team. So let me go ahead and share those right now and get the view I want to get. Okay, so I am Karen Tax, an executive coach, business consultant. I want all of you to know I focus on leadership and culture and strategy. And with my IMX approach, and just to say about IMX, it's I am that I am. It's me as the essence of me, the powerful, connected, not powerful ego, powerful, connected to myself and life. I am. And then X is like when you do the multiplier of that powerful, talented, brilliant I am and you are. When you multiply that, that's when you get high performance out of your team, is when you're tapping into that. So, by that kind of calling out the best of each other and learning from drama, I guide leaders at all levels of an organization to discover their inner genius and wield healthy power. Healthy power is rooted in love. So, as a result, what happens is clients gain confidence in their value, create new opportunities, earn more, navigate complex and demanding situations, all while creating agile work environments where everyone can win. So this is leadership that is focused on individual performance, but also team and culture that supports high performing teams. One of the ways I do all of this is by offering these mindfulness practices to develop leadership skills. And in the case of this one, high performance teams and organizations, we're going to talk about both, actually all three. So people tend to think of excuse me, and I this image is a caricature, but I sometimes I feel like this with people where it's like, if you could really see what was going on inside, this might be what you might see. So people tend to think of high performance teams as or people as working hard, doing more, and doing more faster. So it's a grind, and you have to sacrifice yourself for the good of the team, which is not sustainable over time. And actually, when you do that self sacrifice, it becomes personally harmful, which ultimately compromises high performance. So the problem is that when we don't stop to think about what high performance actually looks like, we default to reactive habits of taking action. I think it's just like that driving hard, right? Type A personality. I've been there, I've done that. And that ultimately, when that's your only mode of operating, that ultimately compromises performance. So I want you to consider, what are the assumptions that you make about high performance? And I would love to see, and let me just get over here so I can see who we've got out here. Hello, hello. So go ahead and add what your thoughts are. And you can do this now live, or you can do it in the recording. What are your thoughts about high performance? And do you think of it as hard work? Do you think of it as something else? Like, what are some of the things that you know are really important for high performance? So, go ahead and add your thoughts and questions about this topic for today as they come up and as I go through this information. I'll do my best to address what shows up in the chat, in the comments area as they arise and as I'm going through the material. And if I can't get to it, I'll as I'm going through information, I'll do it at the end, at the Q&A part. So, when we think about high performance, we're usually trying to maximize production within the time that we're given. And I think of it like this clock. We've got a clock where time is mechanically ticking through, and time is limited, and we need to make the most of it. You could also think of it as being like having a glass jar that's the size of the hours we have in a day. And we're trying to cram more and more work into that jar. And eventually, when we think of high performance in this way, eventually the glass is going to break if we keep trying to cram more and more work into it. So we need a different approach that takes us beyond the old school myths of this cramming more and more in that we carry around in our minds about performance. And I just want to say, most people aren't aware that they are thinking and behaving in this way. So check yourself on this. Just notice, when do you fall into this kind of habitual thinking? So I'm a huge fan of the book, The Power of Full Engagement. Managing energy, not time, is the key to high performance and personal renewal. It's by Jim Lair and Tony Schwartz. This book has been around for quite a while. I couldn't actually find a published date on it. My copy of it, I don't have my copy of it. If you know the published date of this book, please put it in the comments. This book is one of the reasons that I focus so much on being aware of your energy in these many mindful moments. So, managing the effective and sustainable use of our life force energy is what leads to high performance, both personally and collectively, more so than managing time. So, I want to look at a practical example of this by looking at the question of remote work, right? So which form is going to be best for your business? Is it better to be in the office, remote, hybrid? And some leaders want everyone back at the office because they don't actually trust their people and they want to dictate how they do work. They're getting into micromanaging. So they want to control people, they want to keep an eye on them. And if you're one of these kind of people, just know you're in really good company. And when you start to know what your other options are, then you can learn other ways to be effective that don't look like this. So, what's more important is the kind of environment and structures that people need to have that around them so that people can be effective with their and productive with their life force energy. So, some people are more productive in the morning, some people in the afternoon or evening. And so, a good thing is to ask yourself, are you trying to prescribe the same approach for every person on your team? Is that how you're going for um, high performance? So, when it comes to high performance, what's more important than working hard and trying to control or even manage people is to support them in being their whole selves and living in their natural rhythms, and having them learn to trust this. So, for your business, what kind of environment and structures might support people's mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical energies? What do you think would bring out people's best, their natural best, that leads to them being productive and creating value needed by the business? Well, just let yourself go there and think about that. This, of course, is this image is the IMX compass, where we guide you to pull on these aspects of individuals and teams and organizations. So the key is to tap into the whole of each individual, honoring these natural rhythms and personal needs, and embracing challenges so that we learn and become more resilient. So I think of this as, your mind, your heart, your energy, in your soul that it comes out as your will, and then your body. But when our approach to performance is to work harder and do more faster, this habit of doing this. So what you'll see with this is people like deconstructing work into micro segments of time, tracking smaller and smaller um, amounts of time. We end up creating more and more pressure on the people in our organizations. And literally, it's like a heavy weight that people carry around. And this, our thinking and our cultures and our systems then become within this pressure, they become rigid and inflexible, like that glass jar. So, too many people still are living in a myth of performance that has no flexibility and no resilience, and frankly, very little humanity. Like we just that pressure and do more faster. It creates this kind of lockdown. Yeah, so what's more effective? Let's think about this. What's more effective that's designed into my IMX approach is to understand how people's energy in the form of their values and strengths and motivations, and this is a reflection of what deeply matters personally to people, for that to flow into the value creation system of your business. I like to show that this way. And this is how I work with the compass is the center is who you are individually and your team. And then your values, strengths, and motivations flow into the systems that you create. And the compass guides those systems and structures. So this is where individual values align with your business values. And individual motivations flow into your business purpose, and individual strengths combine to serve the mission of the business. So the flow of energy gives people a sense of purpose and ongoing ways to create values that are understood by everyone. So people know they're making a difference. And when you start getting all this lined up, people's motivation and their energy levels starts to climb quite steadily. So this is a significant shift in thinking. And this is actually this Taurus in the middle here it's a GIF, but I didn't know how to this is a PDF, I'm sure. So I didn't know. So I'm thinking, imagine the lights there moving in a flow. So this is a significant shift in thinking from being confined and defined by external circumstances, like that glass jar of your business, defining what's possible, to orienting from our wholeness, from the core of who we are, flowing, and our energy is flowing to interact with each other, our customers, and all kinds of other people. And you can think of this as performing well because you've had enough sleep. You're having healthy food and exercise. So when you consistently take care of yourself, you perform better as an individual and as a team. We know this. We just don't always know how to map it into the culture and systems around us. And then we fall into this work harder thing. So when we ask people to perform even higher under increasing demands, and when the context within which we're working needs something than the glass jar that we're in, we have to break free from the old story myths about performance into approaches that allow our flow of energy to move more freely. And this is where we can all thrive individually and collectively. So let's go back to the question about remote work. What's best? The answer to that depends on the nature of your business, your industry, your customer needs, your employee needs. There's no one answer here. And you would need to decide what best serves both your employees and your business. So, high performance as a team, in especially in these challenging times, requires us to be selfish about taking care of ourselves and our life force energy and the ways that we truly actually function best. And then creating systems that invite individual thriving that's guided into collective purpose and value creation. So, this resilience, it really needs to be authentic, real, defined by each unique individual, and have that lead to real thriving for that individual and our teams. Otherwise, we suffocate in our rigid glass jars. So, an example of this kind of performance that I'm talking about is my client, Materna Medical. All of our employees in this company have gone through the IMX Define Your True Self course. So they know, except for the new ones, and we're getting those in. And this is so that employees can know how to shift between reactivity and creativity, managing their energy in the process. And we use the IMAX compass to define the resilient and flexible container that we use. And I call this organizing elements. We also call it key company messaging. That this defines our culture. And this is the context that we cultivate that invites individual flourishing into collective purpose and impact. We use the Insight 7 platform, and that's insights with an S 7, the number 7 platform to ensure that we have agile strategic management that aligns individual energy and information into collective value creation for the business. It's an amazing it's completely changed how I work to have this resource. So, what we're doing is we're using the best of mechanistic ways of working with Insight 7 without functioning like that rigid glass jar. It's it's empowering rather than confining. So the people of Materna are more productive and are performing at the highest levels I've ever seen in my career with a group of people. It's a tiny startup raising money when it seemed impossible to raise money, and having a huge impact on women's health care. So, this kind of healthy business performance that I'm talking about starts with very personal, individual thriving, where you manage the most precious gift of your life force energy. And that the fractal patterns, like think of the compass as a fractal pattern. So the fractal patterns of your individual thriving that the compass can guide you to can that the compass guides you individually are the same patterns that lead your business thriving, your team thriving as well. And it's not via some step-by-step miracle formula, but instead it's by breaking free from old reactive stories of performance and rigid stories into new stories of thriving as defined and written by you. It's not like you're starting from nothing. I'm showing you what this can look like. So back to the compass. All of our mini mindful moments are guided by this compass. So we are, you can see the fractal patterns with each direction here. I've provided an experience of this compass in our first practice. So, in our first mini mindful moments. So, if you've missed that one, make sure you go back and experience it when you get a chance. There is a link to that in the description of this mini mindful moment. And high performance teams fall within the South or community direction of the IMX compass. And this is where we're working on creating healthy, authentic, trusting, caring relationships that are needed for effective operations in the next section of the compass. I don't know if you guys can actually see when I move my mouse over here, but we're in the last session here of summer. Today is the last summer one. We're moving into the west and season of fall, which I will start next week, and we want our energy and the team performance to be ready for fall and the west, where you harvest the full abundance of all your efforts and the other seasons. So, as we dive into today's practice about how to get high performance out of your team, please consider how you might want to up level your personal performance as a way of leading your team to higher levels of performance. This is always what we're doing with these mini mindful moments. I could focus on value, strengths, and motivations as I do this. That's one way to manage your energy, but I'm going to do that later when I get into the north. I prefer to do that in the season of winter. And instead, today, we're going to focus and tap into your wholeness, your personal wholeness, as a way of beginning to up level your performance as a team. When you know how to do this for yourself, you are learning how to invite your team into their wholeness and higher levels of performance as a team. Okay, let's go ahead and move into the mindfulness part of our mini mindful moment, and go ahead and have yourself settle into this part. If you've been listening to this while you're walking or, doing something, it's probably a good idea to pause at this point and just gather all of yourself here, giving yourself the gift of your full attention, noticing your breath as you breathe in and out. Notice your body. And when you notice your breath and your body together, this is when you can start noticing your energy, the aliveness of you that's always present as long as you're here, alive. Let yourself be supported by whatever you're sitting on or lying on. Some of my folks like to just lie down on the ground when they do this, so you could do that. And notice the environment that you're in right now. Just be aware of what's around you. And notice that you are safe in this moment. You have enough. And if for whatever reason you're not feeling that way right now, pause and get yourself into a quieter situation where you really can relax. You can always start again. Go ahead and let the energy that you're feeling as you connect your breath and your body, that aliveness, let that energy drop down into the ground. You might just feel it as gravity, and that's fine. Let yourself feel tethered to the earth with your energy. Grounding helps us bring new possibilities into reality. The more you are aware of and anchored into what I think of as your best self. This is that calm, open, engaged, alert you. The more you're anchored into that as you ground, the more you can turn toward whatever challenge you're experiencing and actually be with it instead of avoiding it, denying it. It helps us face reality, which is really important as times are challenging and things are coming at you. So let yourself be in full contact with the depths of yourself, this energetic part of you connected to the earth. This is the you at the center of the compass, like with that Taurus, that is beyond any roles you feel. It's beyond your gender, beyond your personality. And let yourself be with the wholeness of who you are, open, aware, engaged, alert, relaxed. Let my voice just carry you into these depths. Continuing to be aware of your breath that carries you to the center of yourself. This is where breathing in, you're taking in what life is offering you. There's air, yes, and there's connection with all that's out there that's life. Breathing out what has been in very personal contact with you. You're sharing your very personal self with the world as you breathe. Breathing in and breathing out in natural exchange with life. Letting yourself feel this deeper sense of the aliveness that is you. And in doing this practice, you are expanding your awareness of who you are. And as we're doing this, as we're walking through this, you're remembering your wholeness, parts of you that are known, that you can sense and feel and be aware of, and parts unknown. Parts of you will arise that are here that you didn't know are here. So there's this wholeness inside of you, there's wholeness outside of you. And your individual particularities, this beautiful, unique you, is in natural exchange with the wholeness of life. Let yourself just feel a part of this and relax, knowing that each part always is indispensable to the whole. Your heart is indispensable to your body. You are indispensable to humanity. And in the space of being grounded and relaxed and centered, this spacious place, go ahead and notice your thoughts. What thinking is still going on here? What stories are your thoughts telling you? Just notice your thoughts and What old habits of judgment or need to understand more or a need to be certain are present? Just notice these thoughts and let them be as they are. Notice the thoughts and the stories they tell, and notice whether you're believing your thoughts. Are you buying the stories? Are they useful, helpful stories? Or maybe not? Okay, now we're going to shift to noticing your will and your sense of power and possibility to move forward toward what it is that you're reaching for, you're wanting to achieve. So, what old habits of pushing or forcing or collapsing are present here that do more, harder, faster? Just notice what's here. It would be natural for that to be here given the way we live. So simply notice your will and sense of power or maybe powerlessness and let it be as it is, this part of you. I'm definitely noticing a sense of hopelessness as I'm connecting with people listening to this. I know that that's not all of who you are. And now bring your attention and notice the feelings and the qualities of your heart. Notice how open your heart might feel, and also any old habits of defensiveness or need to armor or protect yourself. What's present here with that? Simply notice your feelings and your heart and let them be as they are. And now shift your attention to your body and notice the ease, like the relaxation, because we've been in this practice together, or maybe there's some tension still here. Just notice physically what's going on with your body. And where is there energy in your body moving or not moving? Again, where there's tension, we tend to jam up our energy and our aliveness. So just notice. So, in this mini mindful moment, the mindfulness part of this practice, we are touring the fractal patterns of the whole of your energies and intelligence as we can experience it when we are connected deeply within ourselves and the whole of life. So, your thoughts are mental. Your will is an aspect of spiritual intelligence and perception. Your feelings are emotional energy and intelligence. Your body is physical energy and intelligence. As I have been noticing people's dialogue about politics recently, it's very interesting to see how people think of rational intelligence as separate from emotional intelligence, and their thinking is more correct and accurate when they have their emotions under control. So they can be right and professional and scientific and everything. And this is lovely to have this intelligence. And let's explore what it might feel like to be whole in your expression of yourself, where you're not having to chop off big parts of who you are in order to be uh, maybe perfect in some kind of way, not required anymore. So go ahead and consider a challenging situation you're dealing with right now. Bring that to mind as you continue to feel yourself in your seat, feet on the floor. We're still in a place of centered aliveness and wholeness. So, with this challenging situation, pick one, not many, one. What deeply matters to you about this situation? So I don't want this to be like you winning an argument or assuaging your fears or anything like that. I want this to be something deeper, like connecting with others or maybe having a positive impact. So, this challenging situation, what deeply matters to you about this situation? Take a breath as you think about this situation and allow your whole body and beingness to relax, knowing that in this moment all is well, including with this challenging situation. And let yourself be aware of the responsive best parts of yourself. This is where you're relaxed, open, engaged, alert, bringing it all on, the good stuff. And it's also the reactive drama aspects of yourself. Let yourself be aware of all of it. Your maybe sense of urgency about this challenging situation. So we're expanding your awareness of the whole of who you are. So with awareness, you can feel spacious and an abundance of energy and time and perspective. So notice your mind relaxing even as you still have thoughts floating around about this challenging situation. Relax and let yourself be curious and maybe even see how what is important to you, this deeply mattering part of you. Notice how it's needed in the world, what you want. And notice how your sense of what's possible might be expanding as your mind relaxes. Okay. Just keep tracking this as you can. It feels like you're not following along. Don't worry. Just let my voice and the energy that's here, let it carry you. Now relax and let your heart open. You might even want to put your hand on your heart. Let yourself open to connection from your heart with yourself, the whole of yourself, and life. Notice whatever emotions arise as you think about what deeply matters to you. I deeply care about connection with people. So when I have that happening, everything feels like there's more possibility. and hope. So, what happens to your emotions when you consider the idea and see the possibility that what deeply matters to you is possible? I'm going to say that again. What happens to your emotions, heart, when you consider the idea, head, and see the possibility, spiritual perceiving, that what deeply matters to you is possible? And now let's go ahead and relax and let go of any habits that you have and are feeling in this moment to try to physically push and endure to make things happen. And instead, notice how, without even trying, things are moving and shifting within yourself or not. Just let yourself be exactly as you are and let awareness do its thing. Your effort is not required here. Simply let yourself be open and aware and engaged with your whole self, all of you. Letting all the parts of you mingle and bang around how they will. Noticing how everything is connected. Noticing how your mind, perception, emotions, and body sensations move and interact, connect without your effort. You are naturally whole. So, little by little, as you practice mindfulness and move in these territories, these deep inner territories, I think of it as like the Wild West of human evolution, this going inside. You can become aware of parts previously unknown and gain a sense of greater wholeness, greater capacity, greater resilience and strength. And you can know this strength of wholeness even during those times when you get lost in reactivity in the middle of the challenges that you face. Your wholeness is always here, no matter what. You are building your capacity to bring this hospitality of your heart to the challenges that you face instead of the armor that's habitual. And as you are aware of what you're thinking and willing and feeling and sensing, all of it, you are more able to bring your best qualities to life, to your team's performance, and invite that of them. And as you remember your wholeness, there's no need to fear the storm. This is where you can simply become the storm as you choose. So, as you go through your day, my invitation to you is to experiment with the quality of your awareness from a sense of wholeness. So, as you are working on your computer or maybe on the phone, how much of the sense of this, your whole self, are you bringing? When do you shift into habits of pushing hard to that jar? And when do you allow yourself to be nourished by what you're doing and be in the flow of life and the value and impact that you're having with your work? Okay. So please go ahead and like this recording if you're listening to it. I really appreciate any kind of reactions, knowing, positive, negative, whatever. I want to see what's going on. Let me know if you have questions or comments about what I have shared and presented and walked you through here. Let me just do one last check for questions or comments from those of you who are live. All right. Thank you all so much for being here, and I look forward to next Monday, where we're going to be moving into the season of fall. Okay, take care, everyone.